Hey, this is Steve with Dabble Lab, and in this tutorial I'm going to walk through creating an Alexa skill that supports multiple languages using the Alexa Skills Kit CLI. This is a question that's come up enough times on the channel that I thought I would just take a few minutes to create a quick tutorial. But even though this tutorial will be pretty quick, it's pretty easy to do. Still check the description. This stuff changes quickly, and if there's an updated tutorial, there will be a link to that in the description. Click that link and watch the updated version if there is one. Okay, with that, let's jump into it. I'm gonna create a new skill just like using the Alexa Skills Kit CLI, and I'll call this one language. No, I'll call it language demo. Okay. I am just going to go ahead and deploy it. So this is like this, just so you can see what's going on. If you're not familiar with what I'm doing here, this is covered in a different tutorial. I'll leave a link to that, but I'm using the Alexa Skills Kit CLI, the ASK CLI, to create and publish a skill to the Alexa developer console. And as soon as this is done publishing, I'll go out to the console and show you the language demo that's published there, and then show you what we need to do to set up support for more than just the default language, which, depending on how you've got your CLI set up, in my case, it's US English. But let's see, this will just take a second to deploy. I think we can probably look at it out here. So I'm logged into the my developer console here, and if I refresh, should see that language demo. Here it is. And if you can see here, the language by default, it's just supporting US English. That's my default language that is set up here. And I am going to just add support for, I'll add support for Indian English, or the Indian English India, this one here. All right, and so we'll go back to the skill. And if you go into the skill project here and go into the models folder, you'll see that there's a model that is created for your default language. Again, in my case here, EN-US. And so what I would do is I would just copy that and then paste it, and I would rename the new file to EN. I'm going to do India, so EN-IN, like that. If in this case it's English for both of these, there is maybe some little dialect differences, but for the most part it's the same. So I don't really have to change anything here, but if they were like Spanish and English or something like that, you of course would want to probably change your invocation name to the one that was appropriate for whatever language you're working in. But in addition to creating an extra model, the other thing that you need to do is you need to go into the skill manifest, this skill.json file. And in the section that says locales right here, so in locales, we need a locale for EN-IN, and I would pretty much just do the same thing. So I'm going to like copy this and then dash paste it in here. So now I've got two locales, but I need to change this one to IN. So now I've got an English locale for Indian English, and then I've got an English locale for US English. And with that, I am good. So I should be able to deploy this now and go back to the developer console and see that now both languages are going to be supported. So I am deploying. This will just take a minute, but once that's done, I'll go and show you that there is support for both languages. It's deploying the models now, but actually, if I refresh here, it'll probably already show. And there you go. So now we have support for both US English and Indian English for that skill. And you would go through the same process for other languages as well. You would just add a model and then edit the model appropriately for the language if you have to change the invocation name or whatever. And then the second part is you need to add a locale in the skill JSON or the skill manifest file. And that's it. It's pretty simple. If you have any questions, however, just leave those in the comments and I'll reply just as quickly as I can. If you enjoyed this tutorial or found it useful, you might also want to check out all of the 110 plus other tutorials that are on the Dabble Lab channel. And you can get to those by going to youtube.com/DabbleLab. And please subscribe while you're there. Thanks so much.